Hi, Gemini. Welcome. We're doing your reading for the new moon in your sign. Into the dark we go. Into the void we go. I hope that you're well. And I want to say thank you so much for being here. My Geminis, I have a Gemini moon, so you are my my moon buddies. Also, I love Geminis. I think it's probably my favorite sign, actually. Don't tell the others, okay? Let's get into it. We'll look at what seeds you're planting and what surprises you'll find. So, for Gemini, please, what are we gonna learn, gonna see, gonna plant for this new moon in Gemini 2026? 5 of Cups. 10 of Pentacles on its side. Can I get one more? Thank you. Oh, just this one. Honorable mention, Justice, with the 4 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Okay, I'll take it. With the Tower, no, with the 8 of Wands peeking out. So communication about fairness, about honor, about justice, about integrity. As it relates to the truth, as it relates to divine timing, the stability of what it means to build something with someone and or let it fall apart. Is it working? Is it fair? Is it right? There is some sadness pertaining the perspectives that are held, the emotional experiences that are maintained, whether or not there is a sense of balance. I'm getting a sense of one-sidedness in what stands to be home, a person you regard home, an environment you regard home, a relationship that is home to you. We're going to use these 3 decks for you. This is the Wild Unknown. This is the Mystic Soul Tarot, and this is the Movie Tarot. Okay, show me please what this 10 of Pentacles is. Can I get 3 cards to help me understand the 10 of Pentacles, please? Thank you. Eight of Wands, we saw that. 4 of Cups precedes that. All right, so contemplation about what has been communicated, what will be communicated, how to take action about the quality of life. In the 4 of Cups, this woman is sitting here trying to understand what she already has, what's coming towards her, what she's manifesting, what she can handle, what she doesn't want, what she rejects, what from the existing emotional experience of her 3 of Cups is no longer valid, no longer relevant, and or how the current experience is changing what becomes available in the future, right? That it's a feedback loop. The 4 of Cups is, yes, a card of unhappiness, but it's also a card of our unhappiness is a matter of our own doing. So what about our emotionality, our emotional responses, our emotional health, our emotional mindset, really, the outlook that creates what is possible. And so there's a lot of information going on about what efforts you put into your environment that creates the possibilities in your environment. And so you're communicating with yourself a lot, exchanging back and forth. You're putting the work into research to understand, maybe to understand you, to understand your efforts up until this point, to discern the truth and to sift through whatever it is that causes unhappiness. From the 4 of Cups, we come to the 5 of Cups. So there is something that is discovered about dissatisfaction that you are processing. The lightning of the Ace of Swords in the Wild Unknown is the lightning that is in the 8 of Wands. And the 8 of Wands is also here. So as it relates to the environment being kind of at a 45-degree angle upside down, meaning it's not working or it's estranged or it's bothersome, there's some hiccups, I don't know, right? Like your environment is your own. It's everything, the tree of life of your existence, what you put effort into and what feeds you. So there is something about that that is going through a cleansing phase or a clarifying phase, because I've got the Sword of Truth, the Knight of Swords, and Justice here with 8 of Wands on both ends of this message. Also here in Pentacles, which is hard work and wanting to make something work and giving it your best effort. And I just misspoke and said worth, but this is giving it the value so that it is contributing to your tree of life, right? So what is the Ten of Pentacles? Ten of Pentacles is understanding, is your tree healthy? What exchanges have you made recently? What exchanges will you continue to make as you forge ahead in this new chapter with this new moon about return of your investment when it comes to the quality of life, when it comes to communication of the truth, when it comes to being fair, a sense of justice? Two cats. So if the Knight of Swords is here and we're talking about the Ace of Swords and the Justice, those are three swords of truth. Can I see what's the truth? What's the truth? For Gemini, that's the Four of Pentacles. For Gemini, what's the truth? That might be a lifelong question. For Gemini, what is the truth, please? Bottom of the deck, Three of Swords. That it hurt. It hurt a lot. Here we have the Queen of Swords and the Six of Cups. Someone was painfully wrong in their understanding of what it meant to be connected to their joy, to seek their joy, to be connected to their joy, to revel in it, to daydream about it, to fantasize about it, to make plans from it. Yeah. Six of Cups is external harmony in the matters of love and devotion. It's the bridging of the gaps of who you have been and who you will be, especially when it comes to the soulmates, the people that you love in this life, in this incarnation of your life. And then I got the World here. So yeah, the Ten of Pentacles is on its head and the Sword of Truth is there because there is a separation and ending. An ending that maybe was, it comes with lessons. It has to do with home. It has to do with judgment, betrayal, and delays. Page of Swords. And you're just sitting there shocked looking at the whole thing. The Ace of Swords, the truth is all over this. The truth is that maybe either you or someone that you were connected to was fibbing, not telling the whole truth, and or stuck in fantasy and not seeing things as they were presented. No, seeing things as they were presented, but not exactly as they were, okay? Maybe pushing past any red flags and wanting to see things as you wanted them to be, but not as they truly were. Three cards here. Nine of Coins, the confidence, the Sun, to look into the light, to see what it is that you haven't seen up until now, register it. Ten of Swords, yeah. So the limits of what you have existed as up until this point. Ten of Swords goes into the Ace of Swords. What previously you thought was confusion, backstabbing, the paralysis of the mind, right? The ways that you were triggered, the ways that you were responding to things, were charging other people to carry out the same scripts that you have had in unpleasant connections previously. The Sun is a brand new way. The Sun is growth, the growth of your confidence. Eight of Swords. So again, Gemini, both of these cards are your energy. I have allergies, so I'm really sorry about the stuffy nose. But you have the limits to which you could say something, or the way that you were thinking about something, or the abilities for other people to be able to communicate with you. It's Mercury and Gemini. So it's the processing of information, and that's just the structures of your psychology, how you actually view something and how you work through the thoughts to navigate it. There was a barrier. There was a cloud, as you can see. There was a self-limiting belief or a stress that caused you to overthink but not actually find the solution, right? Pragmatism was out the window, complexity was the preference. And this can happen with air signs, but it didn't get you anywhere. And part of this lesson, when the sun shines, when the brightness brings in what you have not seen until now, is that the limit was yours all along. And it is up to you to move from the 10 to the 1. And how you do that is the world. So just so you're clear on the order of cards, it's it's sun, judgment, and the world. So the sun shines the bright light, gives us the brand new consciousness that we need for our evolution at this time on our path, for that growth, that extra boost of energy that we need to push through that soil, through that mud. And judgment is the horn, and that is what you can process and understand from what you've been shown, right? You can't understand everything that you are shown every moment, but you get piece by piece. And that's why things happen in a spiral and you feel like you repeat certain things, but you don't. It's because you're continuously getting all the angles to see the full picture. And each time you are changing. You are never the same when you approach a situation, even if the situation looks the same. Gemini. Then after the judgment sounds, the trumpet horns, and you hear it and you understand, you from your limited place of cognition, what you break through, and now you have a clear understanding of, because lightning strikes, you, world, can close the cycle. And you can do differently again. All right. Okay. So if there's a level of fairness that is achieved, and balance is restored, and karmic order is ordained, let's look at what that is, and then we'll leave it there. Can I see the justice? For the new moon in Gemini, for Gemini, can I see the justice? Five of Swords, the distortion, Emperor of your power, world again. So all along you were thinking that someone else had the right to give you the closure, had the right to tell you what was what. You were being submissive in some way. You were distorted in the sense that 8, you threw your power away. 8 of Wands, 8 of Swords. You threw your power away because maybe you thought, yeah, I can be half of what I am, right? In this illustration, we see an earthworm which is cut, and the thing about earthworms is that you can cut them, and if the brain end is salvaged, it can regenerate the rest of its body. And so there's this great strength of powerful individuals who use mind over matter, which is who you are, Gemini, that you would think, okay, yeah, I can sacrifice myself. I'm whole. I'll be able to regenerate and regrow and grow from this. There's nothing that can kill me, right? So there's this great fearlessness that's available, even though the pain is endured. But with mind over matter, you're willing to sacrifice sometimes the whole of you for the sake of the experience. And that's what's happened here. What's the sense of justice? That you can close this cycle now. It's interesting because the sun is here and this is an eclipse, right? Where the moon is in front of the sun. I think that maybe there's a story here about you gaslighting yourself. Just stay with me. Gaslighting yourself, 8 of Swords, 10 of Swords, because where there were gaps in the information, you may have moon, right? The gaps in the information, the unknown, what you don't know, what you can't know, what's unseen. You filled those gaps in with 3 of Swords stuff. 3 of Swords stuff is expectations, a bit of fantasy and how you project. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? 3 of Swords over there. Yeah. Anyway, the Three of Swords stuff is like when you want someone to come into a gender normality that fits the conditioning that you were granted by the people that you grew up with, your environment, right? Whatever role models you had that gave you an idea of what relationships look like. Five of Swords, gaslighting yourself, is it has to do with self-worth. So the way that you communicate, maybe you wanted someone to give to you, but you didn't want to ask for anything. Maybe you thought that people could, you felt that you could understand someone's feelings even though they didn't say it. You gaslit yourself. You assume that other people should know how you feel, but you didn't say it. That's gaslighting yourself, right? So there's ways in which there's communicative errors, or omissions that have wrapped you up in a mental bind, but they are matters of the heart, because this is Saturn in Libra, which has to do with relating to others. So the rigidity of what it means to have a conditionality, Saturn is the devil, don't forget. So it's the fear-based constriction, conditions that we come into, identifications that become troubling when we're relating to others. And that's when we learn our biggest lessons, when we are in relationship with another person. So what is the justice? The justice is to recognize your power to stand in front of the sun and see something for what it really is, rather than cutting out the pieces even of yourself to fit the story. There is a way in which you close this story and begin again. And I don't know what beginning again may look like. Queen of Swords. Well, it's a much more objective, higher, elevated truth, a complete understanding of the thing. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, this is mental perseverance. That's what we're looking at. Becoming resilient. And there is the Hierophant. So lightning again, this brings you to a whole new understanding of what a value system is, of what it means to be valued, of what you are committed to, and how you will trust the love that came before all the others, which is the love of you. Not the love of you that we see with the Queen of Cups, the love of you that we see with the with Lady Justice, right? It's not about the emotionality of things. It's not about the even the sanctity of things. It's more about the practical of what you can actually hold on to, not drifting away with imagination. So Queen of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, this kind of stuff, where, because before you see the Queen of Swords is here, she did not have clarity, and she was really misguided in thinking that this was a Six of Cups experience. And I don't know how she got misguided. I don't know what fantasies were triggered. We haven't seen the Seven of Cups, which would suggest that you were swept away in fantasy. We haven't seen the Hanged Man, which would bring you to delusion. What we're seeing is a whole bunch of swords, which is internal processing of information. We have seen the Ace of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Eight of Swords, the Five of Swords, and the Three of Swords. So the parts of your cognition that need repair at this moment is the empowerment to never sacrifice yourself when it comes to the constraints that show up in communication between partnership. Yeah. And also, like, the sun is kind of blinding for earthworms, right? Like, not blinding, it's deathly. And I feel like maybe there was a piece of this that was kind of in the shadows, a piece of this connection that maybe stayed in the dark. maybe some elements of it were not out in the public. And I think that going forward, that is not something that you will stand. The world that you will call on now, you will live under the light of the sun. No longer will you be in the back doors. No longer will you be in the back doors of your mind. So this new moon has granted you an opportunity to live out in the light of day. Call world when you need to, right? Close this chapter and be ready to begin again. You've got plenty of pentacles still, right? The 10 did show up in its upside down format, but we have seen the 9 and the 8 upright. So you will be confident. You will be independent. You will find your own way. You will rebuild what you need to be rebuilding. This is a moment for you to come back to you. Okay. Right. I hope that this has been helpful or fun or, anything else. This was again for Gemini Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Check your other placements. Check the description box if you need help figuring out who to watch for or how to build your chart. Okay. Until the next time I read for you, Gemini. Ciao.